Hi, everyone. In this episode, I will be talking about how I take a ton of naps. I sleep in on most days. Sometimes I sleep in throughout the entire afternoon, maybe take a call or two. I work very little. I also work late at night, and how I still manage to make a shit ton of money. I have consistent 50 to 80. I had a near six-figure month earlier this year, and I continue to keep that up very consistently while taking very good care of myself and my sleeping habits, even though they are a little bit all over the place schedule-wise. So I break down exactly what my lifestyle and schedule looks like, where the money comes from, and some things I've done from the very start of my business that have gotten me to the place that I am now. I want to remind you that this did not happen overnight. This was not something that just popped out of the blue. This has been years in the making. And so if you're a brand new coach listening to this, I definitely want you to be taking notes. I want you to be paying attention in areas that can really benefit you earlier on in the game so that this can be your reality as well. All right, let's jump in.
I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration, and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Before I get started in this episode, I wanted to share with you a once-in-a-lifetime offer, and I've never offered anything like this before. It's a 2-week live mini course called Aligned Client Playground. And this course is for you if you are ready to attract more soul-aligned clients in your business without having to do more, and discovering your unique magic and ready to go all in on yourself this year in your online coaching business. And you're ready to create a simple coaching process to deliver your clients' highest transformation. And you're ready to book clients in one sales call without discounting your price or your worth or getting a bunch of no's or people who just aren't ready yet. Inside this 2-week live course, I am going to be teaching 4 calls. There's going to be coaching involved, of course. And what you can expect is frameworks from the BAA sales system to invite and attract and sign soulmate clients into your coaching offer, like the in-demand coach that you are stepping into. You'll get mindset trainings and hot seat coaching on every single call around business energetics, intentional thinking, because that's what creates your results, and really creating results from the inside out. You're going to learn how to step into your Instagram magical magnetic energy to attract your clients. You're going to learn the frameworks from the BAA sales system in order to sign paid clients. And you're also going to learn how to step into owning this CEO version of yourself, building self-trust, making decisions, and clarity around your coaching offer, your structure, price, transformation for your clients, all of it. So you can come with an offer that you want to refine, or you can design one together with me inside the Aligned Client Playground. I'm going to be teaching manifestation practices, law of attraction, and really teaching sacred sales energetics in attracting and not chasing or hunting down. If you've been wanting to be taught and coached by me for 2 weeks, this is a great little mini that you can access. And anyone who accesses the Aligned Client Playground gets a special enrollment bonus when you join Business Activation Academy afterwards. You'll have access to replays and a private Facebook community. I would love to see you inside. The link is tiffanychung.co/ACP. That's TIFFANYCHUNG.co/ACP. The link is also in the show notes, and I will see you on the inside. All right, let's get into the episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I thought I would do a bit of a fun episode for you all today that literally just came to me as I was plugging in my mic, and it's about how I nap all the fucking time and still make a shit ton of money. And I'm going to break this down for you in very real and raw scenarios and schedules and just kind of how I plan my day. Obviously, depending on your schedule and your lifestyle and your energy levels and what you view as priorities, this might look completely different for you, but I just want to offer this perspective and this schedule as an option as an online business owner. And that's what it gets to be, an option, right? Your business doesn't have to look like mine. Even if you're one of my clients or you're one of my BAA students, this in no way means that if you build a business, it has to look like this. The beauty of building an online business is freedom. It's why most of us go into our building a coaching business, into creating financial freedom, into creating passive income. All of those things is so that we can create more freedom in our lives. And freedom means whatever we want it to mean. When you have freedom, you have options. When you have money, you have options. You are allowed to go on vacation for half the year if your schedule allows, right? And who allows the schedule? It's you. You decide, you make those options. And for me, in this time in my life, I'm actually about to graduate, and I'm, of course, one of my main priorities is being a single parent, is being a mom. And so that prohibits me from traveling as much as I would like to because I'm prioritizing taking care of my daughter. And so that might change in the future, but right now, what luxury feels like to me is napping and taking care of myself. And in different seasons of my life and my business, that can shift and that can change. So I want to talk about how I'm able to create a life where I am napping and resting and working very little while still making a lot of money. So the first thing that I want to share, and something I've talked about a whole bunch of times, is that working harder or spending more time working does not equal more money. Okay. Contrary to what our parents believe, and what they've experienced, right? They have a very different experience than we do because they grew up in a different era. Things were different. What was true for them, they think is still true for us, right? Unless they're, very, very aware of how things have shifted and the new paradigm of work has, taken over or can be an option. But for most of them, especially if you're a child of immigrants, like they know nothing but hard work and hustle and survival mode, right? Because they've gone through all of it. And so they, in a way, expect you to go through the same grueling hard work and all of the things that, they had to experience in order to be successful, or even just in order to get by. And so what I want to share with you is if any of this either triggers you or you're like, how could that be true? I just want to remind you that all triggers are invitations for deeper healing. I remember when I used to get frustrated and triggered by other people's money milestones and things that they would share until I opened my heart to it and was like, hey, I want to shift the way that I'm viewing this because I want to accept and be open to receiving that this is available for me too. So just know that you can flip the script on jealousy, and I'm happy to be the person that lovingly triggers you and opens you to the possibility that that this is possible for you too, that there's nothing that's more special about me that makes this more available to me than it does for you. Like, I promise. I used to think that about mentors, and sometimes I still think that, and I have to remind myself, like, wait, that's just not true. Just because we're human, like, really are the people we look up to the most still have days where they're like, wow, I feel really fucking shitty. And they still have moments where they're like, yeah, I'm here, but I really want to be there, right? It's just part of being a human being. We're not so transcendent that we have been able to overcome every single one of these human things. So that's really what I want to preface with. But yeah, I want to get into where this money is coming from. How am I able to attract this money without working as much as you may think I need to? And before I want to get into that, or I mean, I guess this really is getting into it, but I've been in business for a little over 2 years. So it was 2 years this year, April 2022. And I have been consistently selling. I've been consistently offering services since April of 2020. So this has looked like social media coaching and social media engagement services. I've done one-on-one and group coaching. I've sold different masterclasses and courses from the very beginning of starting my business as a social media coach. Now I'm obviously a business coach, and I've fully transitioned into business because that's where my heart is. But I did start as a social media coach, and so for about 2 years, I have built up an audience. And even before that, because I was a content creator, even though I wasn't offering any services prior to April 2020, I was just an influencer working with brands. And so my income did not come from clients prior to April 2020. It just came from brand partnerships. And I was making some money, but not a lot. Okay. So yeah, back to where I've built up this clientele, this audience. I've been very, very consistent about showing up on Instagram. That's been my medium. You do not have to show up on Instagram. It can be YouTube, it can be a podcast, it can be somewhere else. But what I would recommend as you are listening to this and assuming that you want to get to this place where you are making money while you're napping and doing different things is sticking consistently to an avenue that works for you, okay? And creating some type of discipline around that and making sure it lights you up, right? If it's like, oh God, I can't believe I need to do this like every single week, I would recommend that you hire a mentor or a coach to get coached on it and choose something that you really enjoy and it doesn't feel like pulling teeth to you. It might feel a little bit hard and challenging at first if it's new, but it should excite you on some level so that you can will yourself to show up and to do it. Like, for example, podcasting, like I've no problem pumping out 1 or even 2 episodes every single week because I love to talk. And I think this is a great medium for me to build intimate connections with you all. Like, so many of you message me and we talk about podcast episodes or you shout me out in your stories. And I feel like I know so many of you that I feel like I can just picture your faces, the ones who have told me, like, hey, I listen religiously to your podcast, so I think of your beautiful faces and I feel really good about that. And that's how I also feel about Instagram, which obviously I started with. I feel really good about posting and showing up live, right? It's something I feel like is fun for me and allows me to be creative and allows me to be myself. And so it's a good avenue for me. And it doesn't need to look like that for you. It could be emails, it could be Facebook posts, it could be a Facebook group that you run and you just just post in there, right? Like we have so many options now that you are not limited to one thing. Explore what you like. Just try out a couple things. Maybe it's TikTok, right? Maybe it's like mainly Instagram Reels. I have a coached friend that literally just does Instagram lives and posts them as replays on her feed, and that's it. She like rarely does stories, rarely does any other type of feed posts. She doesn't post pictures. She literally just goes on live, and she has a 6-figure coaching business. So that just goes to show you that there's no right way to do it ever, ever, ever. It's just what feels right to you, but you do have to be the one to experiment and be consistent with it depending on what that looks like for you. Okay. So before I got to this place, like I didn't just pop out with a coaching business and started taking naps and cashing in, rolling in the dough right away. There does have to be consistency and massive action and making mistakes and putting yourself out there for a good period of time before you get to this place. And that can happen sooner than it happened for me. It can look different for you, but just know that typically when you're starting a coaching business, it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? It's actually the opposite. Like you really have to give yourself some time and some permission and maybe a part-time job to sustain you while you are building up clientele and creating content and working with your aligned clients and discovering what you want to coach on. It's not something that you jump into and is a financial guarantee, because that would be it would be the opposite of starting a coaching business. Okay. So just know that with any business, that's how it is. And, it's funny. I was saying this on a live the other day that when, we see lawyers go to law school, we see doctors go to medical school, and they know that they have to go through different, like grueling years of schooling and getting educations and getting an education and having to, really prove themselves and take these tests and, the bar exam for lawyers and different exams for doctors. I clearly don't know a lot about this, but I know enough that they have to go through certain protocol and processes in order for them to even begin to make a good amount of money. But with coaching, some of us are like, oh, it's been a year and I haven't hit 6 figures. What's wrong with me? Right? And there's nothing that's gone wrong. It's actually rare for you to be hitting 6 figures. Like you would be doing extremely well if you hit 6 figures in the first year in your business. It's not to be expected. That is not an expectation, right? And the expectation and the goal should always be at improving your craft, in really making sure that you are feeling confident in what you're coaching and that you are attracting the most aligned clients for you, right? And really getting your foundation set up the right way, hiring coaches and mentors. I was told whatever money I made in my first year in coaching, which should go right back into mindset coaching and business coaching. And that's what I did. I didn't have any profit until like the second year in business. I swear to you, all my money went to taxes and coaches, and those were my investments, right? I did pay for some photography so I can have brand photos taken. I did pay for let me see who else. I did hire like some contractors to help me set up some systems in the back end. Again, you don't really need to do that in your first year. I just felt like I needed to. I really didn't, but it was helpful. I could have done it on my own for sure. And then, I also, like, most of my money went towards coaches and mentors and people who were able to help me so that now I have a really solid foundation. If I did not hire coaches and mentors in my first year in business, there is no way that I would be where I am right now. There's no way that I would be able to cash in money while I'm sleeping and be able to have the successful business that I have now. Building a business requires the mindset, and it requires you learning to manage your mind. That's a really important aspect of building a business. So I highly, highly, highly recommend investing in a coach, investing in a mentor that is where you want to be. Make sure that that mentor is where you want to be in your business. Okay. So another reason why it's really easy for me to take naps during the day, during the weekdays, and another reason why I don't dread Monday mornings. I used to, like, on Sunday evenings, I used to get this pit in my stomach because I'd be like, oh, I have to go into work on Monday. I have to sit in that office all day. I'm just so miserable at this day job, like, don't want to do it anymore. And this last Sunday, I was like, wow, I'm really living the life that I've always dreamt of living, which is so crazy. So something that also cuts my time down, and I really work very few hours each week. The things that I work on are very, very specific to only things that I can do. So what that means specifically is, for example, if I need a website to be up and running, I just had my assistant help me put together a page on Kajabi that highlighted all the different offers, masterclasses, and free things that I had to kind of put together for my community. And she did that in a jiffy. She also helps me with podcast editing, all of the behind the scenes back end things, support, emails, DMs, sometimes. And it's incredible, right? Like, I am really left with the main things that I need to do. Now, if you're in your first year in business, or even in your second year in your coaching business, you probably don't need a virtual assistant right away, okay? If you're running multiple businesses, or you've got kids, or you're in school or whatnot, maybe that is different for you. But if you have a pretty lean coaching business, you shouldn't need to hire a VA until you hit like 400, 500K in sales revenue. Most of what you're doing does not need to require a lot of admin work. And if you are spending a lot of time doing admin work, then clean it up. Okay, it's not necessary. But for me, I've gotten to a place where I am scaling. And so the things that I do need help with, I don't want to spend all of my time there. I'd rather spend my time. And now, because I have the money to delegate, because in your first year in business, you want your money to go back into coaches and mentors and building your business. By the time you hit like $500,000 in sales revenue, you have more money to actually build a team if that's what you need, and to start delegating some of those tasks. And so for me, what that looks like is showing up in the places where I really need to show up, such as my weekly Business Activation Academy calls. We have weekly group coaching calls on Wednesday at 4:30 Pacific. And so I'm there for those calls. I'm there to do my client calls. Obviously, those are obviously things that I cannot delegate, right? I love showing up on live. And so most of my energy is spent doing those things. And that's actually in the highest alignment for my business and all of my clients, so that I'm not running around doing everything. And then by the time I show up for my BAA call, I'm just drained. I can't even speak. I'm exhausted. I've been working, all day. I haven't been, maintaining my energy levels in the right way. So learning to delegate has allowed me to show up and do what I need to do, so that if it means sleeping in all morning and taking 1 or 2 calls in the afternoon and then spending the evening with my daughter, that is the best way for me to disperse my energy. And then I'm a night owl, so I'm typically up until 1 or 2 in the morning. Sometimes I'll sleep at like midnight or 1. But even when I'm recording this podcast, it's midnight. So once my daughter goes to sleep around 9, that's when I'll typically work for a couple of hours. I'll work until midnight, and then I will go to bed. So if I need to do anything that like I'm particular about, whether it's like creating slides or like playing around with graphics, which is something I love to do. I do graphics. I do all of my own graphics for the most part, because it just really relaxes me. But I have the ability to do that because it doesn't take a long time and I enjoy it. It actually lights me up. I can put Netflix on the background and I can do it. If it's something you don't enjoy doing, then that's something you can delegate. So that's how I've been able to split up my time very wisely. And again, if you are new in your business, if it's your first year, even if it's your second year, don't worry about delegating everything right away. It can be something that comes along a little bit later. If you do feel like you're being very overwhelmed by your amount of admin work or back end work, see where you can automate some of those things and make it easier on yourself. Like, for example, I used to send a email recap to every single one of my clients after all of our one-on-one calls and take notes and all of these things. Now I just record their sessions. They have support. So if they need to reach out, they can reach out. If I need to assign specific homework items or things that I want them to go and do, like random creative fun things, I'm like, you know what? You need to go and do this week. I will send that to them via Slack. And that's very easy. It's not like a minutes being recorded on a email with like all these bullet points and all of this shit that I used to do in my first year in business. Like, I don't need to do that anymore. And nobody needs to do that, right? Unless it like really for some reason lights you up. It did not for me. It was just taking up time and like my clients were not reading them anyway. So I just record my calls. If there are certain things you can do to just make your life easier, then do that. And oftentimes I find that, you know, new coaches especially, they feel like I need to do all of this for my clients. I need to do more and more and more, especially now that they're paying me, right? But I want you to ask yourself, how is it actually more beneficial if you trust them and you give them the opportunity to trust themselves and take responsibility for their own results, right? Because typically that action of wanting and needing to do more comes from the thought of my client can't handle it themselves and therefore I need to be the one that does everything for them, which creates a really unhealthy hierarchical relationship between coach and client that is no longer equal. So really keep that in check, because that's going to be powerful for you as you continue working with clients. Okay, another thing that's made it really easy for me to sleep all day and make money is I'm selling in the DMs. So I am no longer doing sales calls. I stopped doing this after a year in business. And this will look different for each person. I know some coaches who still do sales calls because they love them and it's so good for them, right? And I actually recommend my students inside Business Activation Academy to at least start with doing sales calls. If you want to transition to selling in the DMs or an application based, you can do that later. But if you're brand new and you are looking for that experience, sales calls will give you so much market research about your clients, whether they sign with you or not. You have this deep dive into everything they are seeking, everything they want to embody, how they want to go from good to great or great to excellent in their life, in their business, whatever you coach on. You literally get an inside deep dive and you can record these calls, you can take notes, and guess what? Now you've got a shit ton of copy and you know exactly how to address your potential clients. You know exactly how to sign clients. You know exactly what they're struggling with. You know exactly what they need from you. You can curate modules and courses and your coaching program to tailor exactly what your aligned clients need. I have been on hundreds of sales calls. I used to get my sales calls booked out into at one point it was into the next year. It was insane. I would get booked out months in advance and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do sales calls anymore. I was doing them like multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day, back to back to back. I was so in demand that I had to switch from sales calls to applications. And it's been really beautiful making that switch. And I've been selling in the DMs instead. I send voice notes. I teach you how to do this inside the Aligned Client Playground. We start May 25th. And I also, of course, teach this in Business Activation Academy. So it's been a really interesting journey, but that has also saved me so much time. But I would say if you're starting out, make sure that you do get the experience of those sales calls, but you don't need to do them forever. That might give you also some relief. Another thing that made it really easy for me to book clients and receive applications while I'm sleeping and make a lot of money is focusing on one, maybe two offers. I do not have a bunch of offers rolling around all at the same time. Okay. And this is not about, what's right or wrong in terms of a product suite or a business plan. Because again, I say this all the time, there is no right or wrong. It is really just a matter of what is going to fit for you and what is going to be simple in your marketing. Right? So if you have a bunch of different offers and they all offer all of these different things all at once, and this one's different because of that, and that one's different because of that, it gets so confusing. It's like going to a restaurant where the menu is like 20 pages long and you are overwhelmed by the amount of options versus going to a really high-end restaurant where you pick, one thing from a 3-course meal and makes it so much easier to choose. Or maybe if it's been even pre-planned for you, right? Even better. So I think that that's really helped is having, I switched because I did actually have multiple offers running at one point, and it was getting really confusing for me. It was getting really confusing for my clients, and I just didn't want to operate in that way anymore. So right now, what I have is my one signature offer, my bread and butter, which is Business Activation Academy. I love it. I think it's incredible. I have built 6 core modules that you get lifetime access to and weekly coaching. And it's so simple. I show up and coach for about an hour once a week. I coach inside the private Facebook group, and people just join, and it's constantly open. And so whenever people are like, yep, I'm ready to start making money and become a coach, they join, they get enrolled, they're a part of the BAA family. It's such an incredible community. And some of my coaches inside have started to help peer coach one another. It's been a very supportive community. I'm also planning on making some of my BAA coaches inside the program guest coaching for some of my weekly calls coming up, right? So it gets to be an incredible experience that is so exclusive to the people who have decided to go all in on their business. And that's made it really, really incredible. And then I have one-on-one spots, which are now all closed up. But I was offering one-on-one at a very high ticket. And so that was also helping. So I would have payment plans coming in from one-on-ones. I only offer a 2 payment plan option for BAA. So sometimes those payment plans come in as well, which is money that comes in while I'm sleeping. And sometimes people pay in full, which is amazing as well. And yeah, I think that's a really good aspect of it, is having really simple offers that are easy to understand and easy for your buyers to make a decision. A confused or overwhelmed buyer is one that doesn't buy at all. So if you are someone who has multiple offers, you've got, texts that people can pay for and like 5 different courses on all different things, and one-on-one and group coaching and like a VIP membership and another course that you can get and a mastermind. It's like, what lights you up and what do you want to focus on selling, right? This isn't to say you have to stick to one thing forever, because I know that there are manifesting generators out there, multi-passionate people who want to show up in different creative ways. And so it doesn't look like limiting yourself, but more so cleaning things up, right? That's essentially what I had to do, because I operate like a manifesting generator most of the time. And so I totally get it. And so with BAA, even though it's on Evergreen and people can join anytime, I still run launches for it just for fun, right? I love finding new ways to share with people the goodness that happens inside BAA. And I even do other little mini things. Like right now I am launching the Aligned Client Playground, which is just a 2-week live mini course taught by me over 4 live calls. And that's it. It's $555, and anyone who joins gets a special enrollment bonus into BAA. So everything I do is catered towards joining BAA, because that is my one main signature offer. And then eventually I will be launching a mastermind. I'll leave the waitlist link for that in the show notes. So I have my academy, which is online. It's always open. And then I have the mastermind, which will probably be like a 5-month, 6-month type of thing that runs, every 6 months, that I launch for as well, which is for people that are ready to take things to a higher level. They have the foundations and fundamentals of growing a business, and they're ready to get booked the fuck out in the mastermind. So that's really what my product suite looks like. And I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it clean. Again, that is really the best way for me to operate and allows it to just be simple for me. And I think that really helps. Okay, I think that is the main things I want to share. I do want to share 2 other things really quick. I really attest a lot of this, and you all know that I rarely say that you should do things a certain way. It should look like this. And I know that there are people out there who can prove me wrong on this, but for the majority, from what I've seen and what I teach my students, starting to coach your clients one-on-one gives you the experience that you need in order to launch anything that you want in the future. Okay, I know there are exceptions to this rule. I know there are people who have started with group coaching or a course or whatever, and they're extremely successful. And I'm not saying this is the only right way to do it. I'm just saying that in my experience, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, starting one-on-one and getting on calls for an hour on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with aligned clients and getting to the root of their struggles, their issues, coaching them, getting really good at coaching them over and over again, and doing one-on-one calls after one-on-one calls gives you the experience over a year's worth of time that will propel you in your coaching business like never before. Okay, because when you jump in and you start with a course or you start with a mastermind or whatever it is, and you sit there wondering, oh my goodness, I don't know how to answer this, or I don't know what to do here, or I don't understand why people aren't signing up for this. I thought that this is what they wanted, right? When you work one-on-one with your clients, you get so clear on what exactly it is that they need support around, and you get so clear on how their brain works and what obstacles come up and how you create your own coaching process around this, right? Like you could have created like a 5-step process that you were like, yep, I think this is good. I'm going to make this into a course. And then you get people going through the course and it doesn't fulfill their needs all the way because you didn't work intimately one-on-one to build the experience that could have made that course a fucking sold out course, right? Working one-on-one allows you to go, oh, wait, my clients are dealing with this. Oh, I'm teaching this and that comes up. Oh, that's interesting. Midway through, these are the fears that are coming up for them. They start to self-sabotage, or they start to, get really worried about this, and this, right? Like you would have never known those things if you didn't start with one-on-one coaching. So, and you don't have to do it forever, but starting with one-on-one is so powerful. And I truly think that starting with one-on-one before I did anything, before a group, before a course, before I even had a website, before I even had an email list, before I did freebies, before anything, I just jumped in and started working with students one-on-one. I didn't even have a coaching business when I started working with them one-on-one. I didn't have an LLC. I didn't post anything on Instagram yet, right? I literally just jumped in and I was like, look, I can help you. Here's what we can do. Let's go, right? And when you hit the ground running in that way with that determination and that ambition, and you gain that experience and you gain that confidence, oh my God, you can literally shoot for the moon after that, okay? So those are the things I want to share with you about making money while I'm sleeping. The last thing I want to share that's going to be an episode on its own is creating money and results with my thoughts. So the way that I do this, I will elaborate. I've shared a little bit about it before, but you really do have to be intentional with your thinking, right? You really have to allow yourself to rest and to know that when you rest more, you receive more. If you are going into that nap going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm taking this time for myself. I can't believe I'm like letting myself nap in the middle of the day. What's going to happen, right? That's going to bleed all over your business and be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you are not going to be seeing those results. It is literally because I believe in the magic of napping and resting and taking care of myself above all else in my life, that I can wake up to multiple applications, multiple, cash injections, big cash months that I'm celebrating, at the end of the month, because I believe so deeply in working less and making more. And so this result, this money is created by my thoughts. I share more about this inside the Aligned Client Playground. That's actually what we're covering in our first call together. So if you're listening to this and it is before May 25th, Wednesday, you can still join us for this 4 live calls, 2-week magical little playground that I'm putting together for you. If you are looking to attract more soul-aligned clients without having to do more, if you are discovering your magic, your secret sauce, and you're ready to go all in on yourself and build a booked out coaching business, if you want more clarity around your coaching process, your coaching offer, I want to coach you on your offer. Let's do it. If you don't have one, let's build one together, okay? It doesn't matter where you're at with your offer. Just come as you are, and we're going to make sure that it is the best fucking offer for your aligned clients, for them to get an incredible transformation that they tell all of their friends about, and you get to continue to raise your prices, book more people, and build a successful coaching business. That's all I want for you. And you will learn how to book clients in one sales call without discounting your price, without getting strings of no's after no's after no's, without discounting your worth, right? We're going to make it simple and easy, and really stepping into that version of yourself as a booked out in demand coach. What does that look like internally? What are the manifestation practices that go along with that? I'm going to be teaching practices of law of attraction and manifestation, mindset, intentional thinking. It's going to be incredible. So if you want to join us for this, you get hot seat coaching on the 4 calls. It's going to be amazing. You have a private Facebook community and you have replays available for those 2 weeks. And if you want to join Business Activation Academy afterwards, you get a special enrollment bonus to join BAA if you are a part of Aligned Client Playground. Okay. I would love, love, love to see you inside. The investment is only $555, and I don't think I'm ever going to offer something like this again, at least not in the near future. So I would love to see you in there. If you want any support in making your decision, my DMs are always, always open. So just reach out to me. We can chat. I can send you some voice notes. I want to make sure it's a full fuck yes. So no pressure. Just want to make sure you're making the best decision for yourself. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.